All right, here comes the challenge. All right, and let's just jump straight to the questions. It took me a bit to write these questions, though. Anyway, we're just gonna do something from our exercise two, right? We're just gonna try to take this challenge from a different approach using a OOP. All right. Now we're gonna have to create a file. We're just gonna call it exercise3.php in working files. I've already done that, and then we're gonna take it from here. So here are the questions, right? We're gonna create a class with the above as properties. That is super easy, right? But I'm gonna tell you something. Be careful of your access modifiers. All right, be careful of the access modifiers that you use on these. All right, now number two is we're gonna create a method that executes automatically with a welcome message that has the full name of the user. All right, so basically we're gonna assign static values, all right, just like what we had in in fact, you can just copy this, right? You just copy this and then paste it there, and then just change the access modifiers, all right? And you can leave these there, right? Because we're not actually processing these from a form or database or a standard resource, right? So number three, the third question is we're gonna create a method that validates the secret word is not less than 8 characters, right? I think we did something like this in the previous one, right? But for this one, we're gonna use object-oriented method, right? Um, and I'm expecting you to do something like a static a static how do you call it, a static property, right? One of You probably have to add another static property here, and this has to be a static method. And number four is we want to extend uh we want to create a class that will extend from the uh the first class, all right? And we're gonna call our secret word method, which is inside the parent class. We're gonna call it in the child's class, all right? And it's possible to call a static method in a parent class inside a child's class, right? And then we're gonna create a method that will display the user query to the support team inside the child's class. All right, and then we're gonna call all our methods. All right, so we're gonna call all our methods except I think this one. All right, this one doesn't need to be called, but you have to instantiate your class before you can call before this method executes automatically. So I'll go ahead and do this. All right, and you should do it. All right, do something. Even if don't worry if you're getting it wrong, just do something. All right, and then in a couple of seconds I will show you my solution and I will explain my solution to you. All right, so I'll see you in a bit. This was hard, right? Those of you that did it. Anyway, it's not that hard, all right? Excuse me. It's not that difficult, all right? This is my solution. I just commented the question out, and quickly I will just run my solution so you can see it. I've got my solution here, and I think I'm good. I'm good, as I can see. So I will go ahead and explain the solutions to you, right? Excuse me. First, I just created a class called customers, right? And these are my properties. And again, I will create a file, right? And I will attach this, right? So probably I've not created them yet, all right? I will create a file for all these exercises. So probably by the time you're watching this, and if you're watching this, you can just go to the resource section and download this, right? So you can just use it for only only referential purposes, right? Not copy and paste and try to pretend like this is your work. All right, I want you to do this. And oh, I forgot to say, for those of you that really did this and got something like this, hmm, I put a whole lot of respect on your name. All right, great. Now I made some of my properties public. I made this private because I did not use it in the charts class. All right, so I made it private. And also I made this one public because I had to use it in the charts class. All right, and I created two static properties, all right, so that I could use it in um, solution 3, right? Question 3, the solution for question 3, where we were asked to, I said we should create a method that validates this secret word. All right, actually when I was answering these questions, I felt like someone is just trying to test me or something, right? That's cool. That's great, man. So I created two static properties, all right? And this my first this is actually the first answer, all right, for question 1. All right, create a class and use the above as your properties, right? So this is the class and these are the properties, right? And initially when I started, I made all these private, all right? And then when I got to the charts class, I realized that I couldn't access them because they were private, so I had to do the changes. You if you really did this, you probably went through the same thing. All right, now the second solution is to create a function that automatically executes without calling them. So that is obviously the construct function construct method that we're using here. All right, and I just passed in this variable. You probably did echo, and just left it. But if you are creating a function, try to make it look like a statement. All right, so I just said if this full name, so if there is something here, right, if there is something in this full name, then go ahead and echo, all right, hi, this. See, I had to use this, then I pointed to full name. Then I said, my name is Paul. Welcome to virtual customer support. Kindly provide your secret password for verification. That is what Mr. Senior Manager asked us to do, right? To create a method that executes automatically and welcomes and with a welcome message that has the full name of the user, right? So that is what we did here. And if I take you back to the browser, you can see, hi, Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is the name, right? That's the name of, where is it? Yeah, that's the full name of the public variable, public method, public property. All right, so we got that there. And where are we? Here, we're here. Sorry, we're here. No, we're here. Oh man, I'm sleepy, man. And then, so that is the basically the answer for number 2, right? Number 3, what we were supposed to create a method that validates the secret word. Yeah, so this I used a static method. Right, I used a static method and I called it validate secret word, and then I passed in a variable, a parameter. All right, I passed in a parameter because we need to take in a parameter before we can validate. All right, so I created another variable, all right, and then I called the string length function, all right, which counts the type secret word, which counts the parameter that comes in, right? So basically, you might ask, or you might be wondering, why did I create a a variable? Because this is actually a variable, all right? Why did I create a variable inside a public function, right? Now you can do this. You can create a variable inside a function, all right? You can create a variable inside a function, but if you specify it right after the class, right, then it becomes a property. And if you want to call it, you have to like look at what I did here. I just call this this variable without using this or self, right? So you can do this. You can call you can create a variable inside a static or a public function and then call it, right? So just like I did on this exercise, right, I just created a variable called counted secret word, right? Then I put in the secret word that is coming in, and then I counted it. So I said if counted typed secret word is greater than or equals to. Now here, this is a problem, right? You need to use self. Now why are we using self? Because this is a static property, right? If the typed in secret word, which is the counted parameter that came in, if it is more than, right, if it's greater than or equals to, now we need to call the static minimum past a minimum secret word that we specify the property. So we have to use self and then the two columns, right, and then we call the name of the property with the dollar sign, all right? So if this happens, then echo thank you for verifying your account, and then I concatenated it with the username, which also is a static public property, all right? So if you look at the address bar, I mean, if you look at this my result, I'm echoing the second else statement, all right, which says we could not verify your identity. Your password, your typed secret word MB, I put it in a quote, is less than 8 characters. That is exactly what I told the function to do, right? That's what I said here. I said um, say sorry, then call the name, the username, right, which is a static property. We could not verify your identity, your typed secret word. Then I put a code, then I echoed the typed secret word, all right, is less than 8, all right. So that is it for number 3, all right. Now if you want to call this function, you're gonna have to pass in the typed in secret word. And what I did, let's go down there here, right? This is when I called it, and because it's a static method, I had to call the instantiated, all right. And I mean, I had to call the class because I don't have to instantiate it to call a static, right? A static method. So I called the class, then I called my two columns, all right, and then I just called the name of the method, right, which is validate secret word, all right, and then I passed in the parameter. But look at what I did here. Because this takes a parameter, I assigned the parameter that is taken to this secret word here, all right. I assigned it to this one, the secret word public property, right? And now I made it public, which means I can access it outside of the class, right? So I just called the object. This is the object customer query equals new customers, so I can access all the properties now. So I said the typed in secret word that is going to be passed in here equals right, equals, right, the object, then I pointed it to the secret word without a dollar sign. So if I go ahead and I make this, I add a couple of stuff here, and I make sure it's more than 8, and I go back to my result, I will get thank you for verifying your account, Kobe. All right, and then this is the whatever that follows. All right, so if I change this back to MBA, and then it's less than 8 characters, all right, we're gonna have sorry Kobe, this is the username, we could not verify your username, right? We could not verify your account. Now let's go to the this one. This one, extend your class to another class and call your secret word method, right? So I just went ahead, and we're running out of time, so I will speed up a little bit. So I created a new class called query report, all right, customer query report, and I extended it to customers class, right? Then now I want to use, because we need to call the validate secret word excuse me, right? And to call it, you have to use the parent, all right? And then because it's a static, all right, if it if it was a public function, right, you would probably just say parent, and then instead of using the scope resolution operator, you could say you could just say, you could just go like this, right? You could just say parent, that you point it to the name of the function, right? But because it's a static, right, static method, you have to use this, all right? And look at how I passed in my value. I want you to pay close attention to this. This is a function, all right, that is calling a function, all right? So you need to specify the parameter here for the function. If you specified the parameter down here, it's not going to work, because here you're not creating a function again, right? You're actually calling a fully built function, all right? And for this function to work, you need to pass in the parameter, right? Now I created this parameter. I overrode the secret word here, all right? And because it's a public function, I can just call, because it's a public method, public property, I can just call it down here. Word, yeah, I could just call it here, and then what I did was I overrode it with another actually an accurate password, which is which is more than 8 characters, right? So now when I passed it in the function, I expected this where is it? I expected this, right, to come up, right? So that is why we are seeing it here, all right? Now the first this what we are seeing here, right, is coming from the first class that we instantiated, all right? That is coming from the first class, all right? That is the greetings, the construct, all right? The first one we're seeing here, right? Now the second one we're seeing here is coming from the child class, because the child class extended to this one, all right? That's why we're getting the the same greeting here, all right? Now because it's construct, it has to construct twice, right? Now the first error message we're getting here, all right, is for this function or this method that is using, all right, that is using this secret word, the 3, all right? That's why we get it like that. And then the second one we're calling in the child's class, all right? In this child's class, all right, we're using this one, all right? That is why we are able to get the thank you for verifying your password, like thank you for getting thank you for verifying your account. Yeah, now I don't have much time, so what I would do is I'll just leave this one for you to see. It's pretty simple, the solution for the last one, all right?